My grandfather passed away last week. Today was his funeral. As I lay on my bed after the ceremony, in the early hours of the morning, a voice spoke to me. It is December 31st, 2024, and in exactly 1 month, I am going to begin walking the entire length of the UK along the Spine of Albion. It's going to start in the Isle of Wight, and I'll walk all the way through England, all the way through Scotland to Durness in northern Scotland, the far north. I have about a 5% chance of getting to the end. I have about a 20% chance, I'd say, of getting to Manchester because I'm injured. I tore my meniscus badly, really badly, about 14, 15 months ago, and it hasn't properly healed. Medically, it doesn't make sense. Logically, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense financially, but I must do this thing.
My mountain is Jackie Kundu. My river is the Murrabakula, the Mabula, the Bula. Today we call it the Mary. I was born on Gubbi Gubbi country, on what we now call the east coast of Australia. The land I was born from is platypus, koala, kangaroo, gimpy plant. It's like 1,000 times more painful than nettle. Dugong, stingray, tiger shark, soldier crab. I come from the Beaumarks, the Gardners, the Swarovskis, and the Mickeljohns. My mother's name is Janet, and my father's name is Timothy, and my name is Matthew, and it is a real pleasure to be here with you today.
It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to fit into the sense making of the world. It becomes something far deeper than that. There is a call here for me that I have to answer. It's quite terrifying. It's really scary. There's a part of me that doesn't want to do it, a big part of me that doesn't want to do it, but I know that I must. So I'm going to need some support. I'm going to need some, my community, my wider. Yeah, it feels really big to make this statement to the wider communities, to declare that I'm going to do this thing.
The road itself is part of the process. Sometimes you just need to start moving, start going through the process. It creates almost like the sacred space, or the conditions to allow space for the right questions to come up and for you to find the answers. You're on your own. There's no one there to go there. There's no one there to rescue you emotionally, to talk you out. And our survival instinct does not allow you to just sit there. The big questions they're not so big when the reality is, how the hell do I get off this hill? Or how do I get water? Or I'm in pain, how do I manage that?
Feels like proper rite of passage, kind of.
It is.
Like that's what you're supposed to value in those moments. Yeah.
And when you first told me about yours, my first reaction, what, this time of year, that distance? But there was another part of me going, can I come? And I decided no. But yeah.
Come walk a mile with me.
Yeah, maybe a mile, maybe a mile, maybe two if I got
or
feeling
have
crazy.
coffee or something.
Yeah.
Darren arrived yesterday, and you could say that he saved the day. He showed up with all this gear, hundreds of pounds worth of gear that I would have had to buy. Darren's just made this so much more possible, and I can't even language how grateful I am. So here it is. This is the article. There I am on page 14, where all the big news is. Matthew's 900-mile walk along sacred leyline. Since arriving in the UK, Matthew has been on a journey connecting to his ancestral lands. We live in a time where we are remembering our story, reclaiming who we are as a people. The identity of the Western world is almost at a moment of remaking right now. One of the important things is to reclaim our relationship with the land and to almost become part of the story of the place in a mainstream paper. It blows my mind. It's wild. Along the way, Matthew aims to call upon communities and people who want to play a deeper role in the world. He went on to say, some people are masseuses who massage human bodies, while others massage whole regions. In some ways, this is a massage or activation of the entire region as I move up the spine, calling communities together and emerging leaders forward to have the big conversations. Morning, everyone. Pretty glorious day here. This is outside my window in Highlands. You might be able to see Uncle Benjamin. Is he over there somewhere? Yeah, this little purple thing just there. That's him doing his morning practices. Look at this day. Wow. Pretty good omens. Yeah, so this is us about 24 hours out. In 24 hours, we'll be a couple of miles in. Not long now. I mean, really, it feels like this is the beginning. Grandmas are going to be singing. You know, the uncles are going to be kind of coming along for days at a time, and it feels like something really old is being remembered here, and that I'm doing something that doesn't fit into this world. It is a bit of a rite of passage. It is a bit of a rite of passage, as my grandfather has just passed, you know, so I'm now the oldest male in that family line, and I'm coming up to 40. I'm coming into my kind of middle years, and it's just a transitionary moment for me. There's also many other transitionary moments through life that we have to honor and acknowledge, and if the society isn't grown enough to hold us in it, we have to do it ourselves. So I'm doing it myself. It is the morning of the very first day. We're in the car. Uncle Dan is driving us down to St. Catherine's, where I'm going to dip my feet in the water. I'll dip my feet in the water in Durness too. You guys are going to do the feet dip if you can?
Yeah.
Yep, dip the feet.
They're going to dip their feet as well. Change here isn't even going to be from me doing this, and it's not even going to be this one. This is almost like this is going to be an example, and all the ones coming through right now, all the
like those, coming into their 20s and through their 20s, who are half a generation or a generation down from me. They're going to see me do this and they're going to go, holy hell, we're still doing that. We can do that.
It's what I'm watching and going, yes, this is what we know as children. This is what we feel when we're little children interacting in the world. We are really, really connected with that. And as we grow up and we sort of go through society, that's what we lose sight of. And as like the Western world, that's what we've lost sight of. And I'm, really honoured to be sat with you and to know you and to just experience that being blended back into our culture and into the generations again, so it can be passed to our children.
I feel so honoured and privileged that we're alive in the challenging times we are. The truth is, no times other than these times would have called me forward to do something like this. Like, I needed the world to be where it's at, the disconnect to be where only that would have me go, oh, I better do something. So I think we're also blessed by the challenge and blessed by the disconnect in some kind of wild roundabout way, because it's like, it's calling us into ourselves and it's calling us to do what I don't think we would, if everything was rosy. It is and forever will be only love that breaks the spell.
First step.
On the long journey ahead, there are 33 important sacred sites. They are the 33 vertebrae that make up the spine of this isle. I'll be weaving between the traditional sacred sites and breaking tradition to follow my nose to my own.
The Spine of Albion is this ley line that runs from the Isle of Wight all the way up to the tip of Scotland and then beyond into the Cygnus constellation, the Swan. And this ley line consists of two energetic currents that flow in and up through the line. One is more masculine, Belinus, the other is more feminine, Ellen. And there are many sacred sites along this line, particularly at the nodal points, at the cross points where the energetic currents cross. And our ancients, our elders, our ancestors of these lands were pilgrims along this line and would have had many, many significant gatherings, ceremonies along the line, and especially on these very sacred nodal points.
Like to shout out to your wet feet that have been wet for like probably 3 hours now. So keep following that felt sense, and it's beautiful listening and speaking. There was also we've spoken to that depth of listening and speaking and how the two are needed together. When we're massaging, can't just go in like, okay, I'm going to do this and this. It's actually listening to what the muscles need. So it's just as much listening.
Morning of day 2. My last night in a hotel for a while is now done. My last night in a bed for a while is now done. So I get to begin bivvy camping. I have a tarp and I have a little bivvy, and it's a tiny bivvy with just one pole, and the bivvy itself rests on my body. So it's almost like a little coffin, little ego death coffin.
Yeah. Morning. Day 3. And yeah, just heading into Winchester now. Camped about a mile and a half out. I've just done Winchester Hill this morning. That's where I am right now. Done Winchester Hill. Been touched by Winchester Hill. Sat with Winchester Hill. I smell already. I think it's time for a little bit of breakfast. If I have time, when I make time, I'm going to go see Arthur's Round Table. I haven't seen it before. It's a replica, but, holds the prayer. Hello, my friends. Might be a little lost. There's Ink Pen Beacon. I've got a few little techniques that help me get through the miles each day. And the first one, the easiest one, is to wake up early and to pack up straight away and to get an hour of walking done before I have breakfast. Sometimes an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. Today, I'm headed towards Hungerford, where I'm hoping to have a hot meal breakfast, which will be very nice. And then on to Uffington. Day 6. It's a nice day. Been seeing 3 of the vertebrae of the spine. Culver Downs, St. Catherine's Winchester. And then yesterday, the Ink Pen Beacon, just moving up the deep vertebrae. There's my camp for the night. All right, my first hot meal on the road. Let's give it a stir. Managed to not freeze. I woke up that day thinking about all of those who'd walked pilgrimages on this isle throughout history. And I couldn't help but think about Mac McCartney, someone I consider a mentor. 15 years ago, Mac walked from Embercombe in Devon all the way to Anglesey, Mona in far north Wales. He wrote a book about it too, called The Children's Fire. Something about his walk had been a real catalyst for me doing this one. And even though I was walking a different path, I couldn't help but feel like I was somehow following in his footsteps.
That was big. Just walked pretty much through the Cotswolds overnight. I am absolutely wrecked. And I still have to do a couple of miles to try and find somewhere to bunker down tonight. My right knee has been giving me some grief, and yeah, my limp, I've been limping for about 150 miles, very subtly, but it's just gone worse because of that bucket tear in my meniscus. I'm going to have to do something about it. My left hip is starting to compensate, so I've got a sore left hip as well. I can't even begin to capture really how blown away I am by how my brothers and my uncles have come forward and stood for me and with me in this whole dreaming, in this kind of audacious idea that I've just dived into and given myself to. And just like when I was thinking about it the other day, I was like, Darren gave me all his gear, not all of it, but like so much gear, and he just like gave it to me, you know. I feel really touched, actually. I just want to be real about how it's kind of hard to capture how much it means to me and how beautiful it is. And Benjamin has been just a force. Like, I guess things that he's done and is doing that I'm not even going to speak here, but just the extent to which he's willing to stand with me and for me is so, he's really standing with me. And Dan driving me down, and putting hours, days of his life on hold to come and get me to the start and shepherd me through those first couple of days. And the men are really showing up. The women are as well. But right now I just want to speak about the men because, God, it means so much. Yeah, I couldn't have done this without you. Thank you. I love you. That's my path. People think I'm on a holiday. This ain't a holiday.
One step at a time. One step at a time.
They call them the whispering nights, as if the stones are leaning in and whispering to each other. Some of the ancient myths, they came out of generations of listening, the collective unconscious revealing itself over just hundreds of generations. We have a responsibility to call a thing what it truly is, to really find the name of a place, to really hear the story of a place, to the same depth of intimacy as our deep ancestors did.
Albion is a title for these sacred isles of the United Kingdom, that some people call it, whereas I feel it more like a fractured kingdom right now. Great Britain does not resonate with me either, and I know a lot of people feel the same. And I also know that there's still a lot of tension between the different countries here. Albion represents a time on these lands where we were unified and we were united. All of the corners, not just the different countries, but the islands around as well. England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, and not just the human beings that lived here, but the nature beings as well. Every time we use this title Albion, we are raising Albion, we are remembering Albion, we are restoring Albion.
After 3 weeks of walking, I was finally coming into the Midlands, Manchester, and the heart of the Isle. It felt like it was finally time to invite the community into this cultural stirring.
I wonder if it's going to snow tonight. It's definitely cold in the clouds. I feel like the adventure's just kind of turned up a notch.
I took my first week on the Pennine Way to simply be in communion with my grandfather. He was a father figure to me, and his passing at the end of last year really shook me hard. I knew that in some roundabout way this pilgrimage was a final bow to him. As I walked, I had this vision that just wouldn't leave me, of having a beer in my grandfather's honour at the end of the aisle when I'd finally finished this thing.
Burns from the fire last night. I was obviously sitting a bit too close. It was hurting, it was burning. I didn't think it was that bad. no. Oh, no. No. Oh, God. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh, no. 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 Oh, fuck. Shit. I have hurt my knee, and I think it might be not good, potentially bad. I'm literally 2 miles away from the sycamore at the gap, the felled sycamore at the gap right now. I've walked a mile and a half since kind of packing up this morning. There's a proper limp happening. Yeah, I'm a little concerned. A little concerned? I'm a lot concerned. I'm not sure where it will go from here. So I'm just going to take it slow. I'm going to just move slowly. I walked a mile and a half, and another half mile up the road from where I was. There was literally this backpackers, £15 a night, dorm rooms. I'll take the night here, focus on really just taking care of my leg, giving it some space to show me what it is and kind of speak to me a little bit so I can work out how to play things from here. My next major stop is about 140 kilometers. What's that? 90 miles north. I've got Hamish, my friend Hamish, who's got my drum, and he's got ancestor sticks. That's 90 miles away. That's a long way of like limping and like subtle agony on every step. He is praying for a bit of a miracle. I think I might have used my miracles up on this trip already, but I know one more would be good. It's not agony all the time. That was the first maybe 15 miles. Now it's just kind of gentled a little bit. It's almost like my body's adapted and is supporting me. I'm using other parts of my body, and I've changed my stride style. I'm on my last leg of the Pennine Way. This is the last kind of 20-ish miles of the Pennine Way. Probably camp out here somewhere tonight, a little bit further up. I've got 14 miles to go until I deviate from the very last part of the Pennine Way and head towards Galashiels and stow above that, where my friend Hamish is waiting. He's got a house there. He's waiting with a bed, a hot meal, and a hot shower, which I'm looking forward to. And yeah, this is my last day with the Pennine Way. So just kind of soaking it up, and yeah, it's been a challenge. It's been up and down, and up and down, and up and fucking down. Over and over again. And amongst that, just like kind of glimpses of real beauty and some of the old soul of these lands. Yeah, it's been a glorious time, really, though challenging and painful. I've almost done it.
buddy.
See you, my friends.
All the best.
Be in touch.
All the best.
And who were these people? The ancient Britons, the ancestors of the folk who would later call themselves, in Old Welsh, the Cymrogi, the fellow people, or comrades, if you like. That's where the word Cymru for Wales comes from. And these were the ancestors of the Welsh, the Cornish and the Bretons, the indigenous people of this island. This was the place right here that the later Britons, or Welsh, would wistfully call the Old North.
It was such a cold night last night. Oh, in the minuses. Pretty deep in the minuses. It's pretty cold. It's like, honestly, last night sucked. Just hours, you know, one of those nights of like staying awake and just shivering and trying to get warm. And yeah, a bit of a horror night, really. My only option, I think, is to make for the shelters, for the bothies.
Got some firewood. Hopefully it's not too rotted out. To be fair, I don't know if I'm following human path or deer path, but it seems to be going in the right direction. So I seem to be somewhere around about there. And I think that is that. And I need to go around that into this Eden. The biggest day of this whole trip today, and I wasn't sure if I was going to make it into the bothy, but I'm just a few hundred meters out. I've spoken a lot about my grandfather and how this journey, this pilgrimage, was inspired in the moments following his funeral as I lay on my bed, grieving and just trying to comprehend in some way that he had gone, that he's passed. And it was in those moments that I heard the sacred call to do this thing. But what I haven't spoken about at all actually is my grandmother, Edna Mickeljohn. These are Mickeljohn lands up ahead, northern Scotland. The Mickeljohn clan comes from here, my grandmother's line, deeply woven into the story of northern Scotland. My grandma turns 93 this year. She's 92 right now. She has always been a fierce woman. There was always a strength in her that I admired. I think I have come to admire it more and more as time's gone on. My grandmother lost the love of her life. The man that she spent 65 years with. I'm coming into the lands now where my heart is feeling my grandmother, who's still here with us. My grandmother was the person who, when I was 12, about to turn 13, she pulled me aside. She spent 6 weeks with me and she initiated me into our family line. She inducted me into the story of our family. It's quite mind-blowing actually to think about everything that I've been through and all the stages of this journey, everyone who's been a part of it, all the moments where it kind of seemed like maybe it wasn't going to be able to happen. Even, before I began, how was I going to get the gear? How was I going to fund this thing? There was just so much that seemed like it was not going to line up. It didn't make sense to do this and it wasn't going to work to do this, but here we are. Just around the corner, really, in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, I feel really grateful, blessed actually, to get to have this intimacy, to kind of feel the greater organism of these lands, to feel the wider myth, the greater story, and not just kind of a little piece of it, but how it all dances together, how the waters flow together, how the ridge lines are all part of the same story in one way or another. This is the final night. This is the last night, night 71. And that right there is Ben Hope. Ben Hope in Gaelic. Ben means mountain or mount. The last night of this journey ends with hope.
I had made it to Durness, but it felt really important to finish this journey properly and complete the extra few miles to the tip of the local peninsula known as Furrowed Head. These would be my final steps on this pilgrimage. It was a glorious day, and the ocean was alive. I was born on the other side of the world, but this isle is sacred to me. I'm proud that these lands, these waters, these people are part of my story and that I'm part of theirs. When I first began this pilgrimage, I thought that raising Albion meant raising an army. But as I walked the spine and listened to the land, I slowly realized it's actually more like raising a child. So that's my prayer at the end of it all. It's what I'm taking back to my communities, that we work together to listen, to nurture, and to stand for the stirring soul of this isle and the beautiful wild people who call these lands home.